That was the Mark Bagley goal, called in Hindi, as Essendon increased their exposure on the subcontinent and potentially through India. A celebration pre-game of Bollywood, etc. Absolutely fantastic to see the game spreading its wings. Half-time at Etihad Stadium. Essendon 6-7-43, courtesy of a Mitch Brown goal after the siren from 50-odd out. Sydney 6-4-40. The Bombers lead it by 3 points after Sydney led it by 6 points at half-time. Boys, you've had enough of a chat about this one already. Hey, tomorrow, Judge, huge. 17 degrees, sunny, MCG.
18.
They're talking 18 it's gone up to now. I'll take your sunscreen then. Essendon, Collingwood, the big out, though, is Jordan De Goey for the Pies. I said Essendon Collingwood. It's not Essendon Collingwood. That'd be Anzac Day. It's Richmond Collingwood, Chris. You fool. Who do you like?
I like Richmond in the end. I thought Collingwood were absolutely brilliant against the Kangaroos last week. Their tackle pressure was the best I've seen from any team in the competition this year, but I just think with De Goey out, it's going to be one quality player too many, and I think Richmond will be too good.
And if Essendon were playing Collingwood, who do you think?
That's another good question, and we'll cross that bridge when and if we come to it.
I like Richmond 1-39 tomorrow.
They've got an incredible record. I think they're trying to break the world record number of games, one in a row at the MCG, Nate.
It is, and they play really well, the Tigers. They are due for a loss, and people say they're due for a loss, but it doesn't mean they do have to lose, because they could go through this whole season now without losing another game. They're playing that well at the moment, the Tigers. No Dunn, no Treloar, and also no De Goey. Make it really hard.
Some fantastic games of footy across the round, and we've got a good one here, because it's Essendon leading by just 3 points. And Aliir, they've increased the bandage on his knee, trying to convince people that it's his knee rather than his ankle.
Oldest trick in the book. Duke called it brilliantly. We're not getting fooled by that, are we, Duke? Yep.
Absolutely tipped it ahead of time, and it's the old country footy trick, Howie. Strap the knee when your ankle's crooked.
Sometimes you just need to admit you're wrong in life, Darce, and I reckon this is one of those instances.
Sort of famously Darren Mullane that taped up the wrong hand.
That's true.
In the grand final.
Heath Grundy, I don't believe he's out there in the field. I think he's still in the rooms, potentially getting some treatment, so let's follow that one as well.
Strap yourself in. Big second half coming up. It's the Bombers by 3 points. First hands on it. Brendan Goddard rocked the other way, wrapped up in a strong Heppel tackle, who's impressive. Kennedy, Florent with some leg speed, but equally up to the task. Zach Merritt was outstanding. Pinned him in the tackle. Brown had kicked a big goal on the siren. Gets it back to Devon Smith. Had his pocket picked by Ronk. And now here come the Swans. Ronk tried to get through a tackle on another bone-crunching Essendon tackle, and Myers comes up the big play.
If you're John Worsfold, you'd be pumped with the first couple of seconds here. The first one was Zach Merritt's tackle, and then that one from Myers. 2 massive tackles.
By hand to Saad, the number 42, drives it inside 50 towards Langford. Rampy makes sure the ball goes across the line. 50 round or so from the Bombers' goals.
Again, there was just another long kick down the line in there by Saad. Wide, there's no change of angles, there's no flow, there's no forwards leading up towards the ball.
So we're a minute into the second half here at Etihad Stadium, round 19. Big stakes on offer here for both clubs. The Swans trail by 3 points. Kennedy's handball missed Isaac Heaney. Boundary throw-in, still inside forward 50. Two-man.
Darce, third quarters have been a concern for the Bombers this year. They've only won 3. Sydney have won 10.
Interesting. They've got Stringer in the ruck. Bell Chambers goes a kick behind the play, almost like an old type 10 years ago ruckman.
Nate Brown, Chris Judd, Triple M Cbus Super Special comment. Zaharakis, little piercer inside 50. Brown! Quite the forward. Kicked one to finish the half, and now Mitch can have a shot for his second in a row from about 35 out. We're seeing on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay there, Darce.
Yeah, Heath Grundy is off the ground, and he would be playing on Mitch ground at the moment, which means they've had to send Fox back there, who's a bit outsized, Juddy.
It is, and he just doesn't look like he's walking all that freely down there. So
Brown bangs it through, 2 in a row to Mitch. And Essendon have kicked the last 3 goals of this match to open up a 9-point lead. The Bombers, 7-7-49, Sydney 6-4-40 on the Triple M Simply Energy scoreboard. Simply Energy powering up the AFL.
It's a much better way to entry your forward 50. Zaharakis, he was 48 out, lowered the eyes, and he had Brown leading at him. It's such a simpler way to distribute the ball inside forward 50 rather than going long to a defence, which, let's be honest, is a very good defence here with Aliir and Rampy in the back line, who read the ball so well. They need to move the ball differently, the Bombers, than they have on that occasion.
So Heath Grundy still inside the rooms. There will be no further part taken in the game by Matty D with a really bad concussion. He's out, and we'll wait to hear from Jay-Z an update on Heath Grundy. They'll be desperate to get him back. Florent, half back to the wing. Ronk pushed underneath it fairly by McGrath. Now a ball to be won. Goddard and McCartan go at it. Ronk comes back in. Great attack on the footy, stolen by McGrath. Squeezes a little one out off the side of his boot. It'll go straight through the interchange race. Newman can't keep it in. Devon Smith down there as well, boundary throw in, Howie.
I think Jay-Z's busy trying to formulate how he can get his minute-and-a-half interview with Dante Exum as an exclusive two-page spread in the Herald Sun tomorrow.
Yeah, we have seen Hugh Jackman in the crowd as well, so what's it, Jay-Z, that task next? What do you reckon?
Busy night, he can get a four-pager. A great job by Jay-Z to speak to Dante Exum at half-time. Nice mark taken by Langford, the number 4 for the Bombers, rangy type. Little chipping ball, Bagley marks. And he can have a kick for goal from the Medallion Club side, about 40 out, 10 inside the boundary. Mark Bagley to kick his second.
Well, Nath Brown called this at half-time. He wanted more marks in the Essendon forward 50, and so far they've been able to deliver by just not blazing away blindly to the top of the square, and they've looked a lot more dangerous for doing so.
I like his hair. I like the headband thing that he's got going on, Mark Bagley. 6'2" from set shots this season. Crosses the 50 now. Hits the ball, starts it right and stays that way. So a behind for the Bombers. Sydney a 40, Essendon 50. Agree with that, Nate, or not?
I do like the hairstyle. It is a very good thick crop. I'd like mine to be a little bit thicker than what it is at the moment. That would be ideal.
I don't like any player with long hair, and I acknowledge that's a bit of a personal bias. If you are going to have long hair, I'd prefer it to be in that shape than the top knot.
I think the Duke's working towards that with what he's doing to it.
Detect a lot of hair jealousy always in this box, Howie.
I love the long hair.
Yep, the option's open to you and I, not for the Super special comments. Then look at that from Zach Merritt. That's 4 goals in a row. It's the first 2 of the second half. Horst Longmire's got that real worried look on his face. The Bombers have come out and gone bang, bang, 8.56, Sydney 6.440 on the Triple M Simply Energy scoreboard.
It's working really well, isn't he, Merritt, your man Juddy? He's had George Hewitt for various parts of the night, but he's been able to get to contest after contest, and he's such a good finisher.
He is. He's a great tackler and often very courageous with his ball use. He takes the harder options and sets up a lot of goals from it. And momentum's a funny thing in football. They've got those last 2 goals, Essendon, before half-time, and they've just carried that with them into this third quarter.
McDonald's, Triple M rocks footy, errant bounce will be done again. My favourite is the Dean Turley, the long, flowing, unkempt, surfy
Dean
look.
Turley.
Yes.
A name from the past.
Yep. Just flowing.
West Coast wingman.
Yeah.
Is he related to Craig Turley?
Yes, Craig Turley as well. Dean was his brother, had a very similar haircut back in the day.
Yeah.
Should have just said Turley, shouldn't I?
Should have, if you wanted the listener to know who you were talking about. That's what you should know.
Swans drive the ball forward through Ronk. And the mark is taken at the back by a man that prefers the top knot. And that is Cale Hooker.
I take no joy in you mucking that name up.
No joy. No, I ascertained that.
Short and wide from Hooker into the hands of Brendan Goddard.
He's been pretty good tonight, PJ.
He's moving well, isn't he? No signs of...
Everyone's trying to wind him up, but I think he's played really solid tonight.
It's just a sport that we've got in our game, isn't it? When players get to the end, we love trying to call it before anyone else. Don't know why we do it. We should celebrate players in their last year. Jay-Z, what can you tell us?
Heath Grundy back on the Sydney bench. Expect him to come back on, Duke.
Well, that is really good news, Jay-Z. They'll get him out there ASAP. Mitch Brown's been looking a little dangerous since he's been off. Isaac Henney, clean possession, inside forward 50. McCartan did well to make sure that one was an intercept marked by Hooker. Hooker, a little handball back to Hurley on the non-preferred left, sends it down the line, and Sinclair takes a good mark. I haven't seen a whole heap of him though, True Man.
He's only had 6 possessions. That was mark number 3.
Sinclair towards Franklin, got too much on it. Hurley makes sure the ball goes towards the boundary line. And he's infringed, Buddy Franklin.
Had no intention of going to the ball. Hold there.
I reckon he's right, the umpire.
Thank you.
Just trying to make sure Buddy couldn't get his hands up. But the ball's always going over Buddy's head. And now Bud will get a free kick.
The umpire was wrong there. He was going the football. It was just that Buddy stopped and propped. He had to jump over the top of him. I reckon Michael Hurley's stiff there because he was going the footy.
29-20 from set shots this season. He's only had 2 possessions and 1 mark to date in the game. Hasn't kicked the goal. So Franklin from deep in the pocket. If anyone can, the big Bud can. Loads it up from an angle. Look at this man! What a kick from Buddy Franklin. Maybe that'll spark the superstar up. And the Swans break a run of 4 straight from the Bombers. What a kick that is. Essendon leading it 8-8-56 to Sydney 7-4-46. And that is on your Triple M Simply Energy scoreboard. Simply Energy powering up the AFL. Talk that up, Noodles.
There is something special about Lance Franklin Brownie, and one of the things is he just manages to do it whenever they seem to need a goal. He's 50 metres out there from the boundary on the wrong side for a left footer, even though that seems to be his favourite side. But time and time again, he delivers at crunch moments in games.
Great kick.
What a moment that was in this game. Nice celebration from the Bud. Big fist pump. We know he's not moving all that freely, but what an incredible clutch goal. Hacked forward by the Swans. Good hands. And they're going to go forward again here, the Sydney Swans. This is Jordan Dawson. Left foot kick was smothered. Ricochets to the edge of centre forward. Now a 50-50 ball to be won. Heaney in there. Heppel in there. It might be wrong. Bottom of all that, Joey Kennedy amongst it too. It's going to be thrown up. True centre forward in attack for the Swans.
Got a fair bit of space here, the Bombers. If they can win this clearance and run the footy, they've got a lot of space to work with.
Woody does win it. Now can he get it into that space Nate Brown is talking about? He gets it to Fantasia. Pretty quiet so far, Chew.
7 touches.
He goes down to Mitch Brown. He's kicked a couple of goals. Marks in front of Aaliyah. Just forward to the wing. Mitch Brown, the side leader by 10 points. 9 minutes into the third term. Goes short to the skipper, Heppel.
Been pretty good. Sends this one long, and Guelphy down there. McDonald, Tip and Woody. Getting back there, Kennedy. Swans are going to be happy this one to go over the boundary line, and eventually it does. So a 10-point lead. We have played 9.5 minutes into the third quarter, 56-46. It's the Bombers, and they'll get another opportunity here at the Lloyd end, deep in attack, boundary throwing.
Umpire tosses the ball back in. Sinclair taps it down to his small men. Ball not going anywhere. Who's going well, Chewy?
Yeah, Dyson Heppel, number 1 ranked player for the Bombers with 20 disposals. And Zach Merritt, he's got 17.
Some nice Triple M Bosch Tool stats. Chewy is always doing a magnificent job. Had the crew from Bosch Tools in earlier, which was nice. And again, the ball not going anywhere. He's just camped forward for the Bombers.
So another ball up, a lot of numbers around it. As always, I suppose this is where there has been some thoughts around trying to have set positions, dragging players out of the congestion. Sinclair clearing kick, gets an added defensive 50 out the back. Young Tom McCartan gathered it well, got pushed in the back after he disposed of it. No, said the umpire. Kick smothered. Heppel working super hard down there. Devon Smith's got his hands on the footy, wrapped up in a strong tackle. Kick forward by Francis. McDonald, Tip and Woody down there. Punched away from that man. Back to Sard. Elusive as ever. Sends a long left foot to the goal square. Brown. Aaliyah got back and did a really nice job. Rushed it over for a behind. 8-9-57 Essendon. 7-4-46 Sydney. Triple M Simply Energy scoreboard.
Das, you mentioned how hard Darcy Heppel's working, and he is. If there's a contest or a ball that spills free, generally he's the first one out there, and he's the first one from a stoppage to get to the next stop play. He's a tireless worker.
Good kick from Zach Jones from fullback. Found Dawson in a nice bit of space right at centre half back. Now Papley. A nice goal earlier on to Cunningham, who caught one in the ribs, but he's back out there. Kennedy to Zach Jones, who kicked the ball in only seconds ago, so he's really made some ground up. Short chipping ball back to Cunningham.
They've got a mismatch of Sinclair versus Tip and Woody deep in the Swans forward line, so if they can manage to get a one-on-one there, Essendon could get exposed.
Good work from Sinclair, and well spotted from you, Juddy. He's pushed all the way down deep into attack. They kick it to Buddy Franklin instead. Picked up though by Heaney, and they could have almost got that mismatch down there, but Sinclair ran himself under the footy. Goddard's been solid, as Juddy and Nate Brown have pointed out. In defence, McDonald, Tim and Woody hanging on to it for a long while. Had to send it back by hand to Goddard, and the ever-reliable veteran Goddard goes back to Hooker, who is still deep in defence, but he's going to take a little bit of time here. The Bombers lead it by 11 points.
Playing game 330 tonight, Brendan Goddard. The boy from Traralgon. Good mark by Cunningham. Just forward of the pocket, puts it inside 50. Hayward bounces off his chest. Missed opportunity to Brown. Parrish. Now the Bombers have got opportunities in the middle of the ground. Bit of an errant kick, but beautifully picked up there. Now Saad hands it to Zaharakis. Oh, he just kicked it straight to Alira. That is unbelievable. I think he thought Bagley was going to track back that way, but in the end it looked like he short passed it to Alira, who takes intercept mark number
6.
Wow, Chewy, nice.
What's the world record, Ash?
We'll come back to you shortly, Brownie.
Still waiting for my answer on has anyone been reported before the first bounce, said True Man. You just haven't responded there, Ash.
Just trying to sweep it under the carpet, Dan.
Franklin got out on the lead. And you thought with that 50-metre miracle goal from the boundary, maybe that would ignite the Swans and Buddy. And this one, much easier task, 45 metres at 45-degree angle.
Costly turnover from Zaharakis. Needed to do better. And I agree with you, Howie. He thought that Bagley was going to drop back into the goal square. He didn't. He came back up at the footy, and the kick was errant. He needed to do better. It goes from one end because you got the break, and everybody's running to create space. That allowed Sydney players all the way down the field to be loose, and ends up with this man.
903 career goals from the champ. Can he make it 2 in a row? Just got a bit of left to right on it. Struck it well, but missed it to the near side. And that will be a minor score 8, 9.57. Swans are 7-5, 47. 10-point lead to the Bombers on the Triple M Simply Energy scoreboard.
10.5 to go before the final break. It was Sydney by 6 at quarter time, Essendon by 3 at the half-time break. Currently 10 points, as Darce just told you, the way of the Bombers. Big punch from Nick Smith. Falls towards Merritt. Didn't even get to really take possession before he was belted. Now Franklin. That's ambitious, as Dennis would say, from a big angle and about 55 out, and it's out on the full.
I just love the fact that his body language doesn't change, Buddy. He's had a really quiet first half, but he comes out here, his confidence isn't dented at all, and he's every bit as in this game as he would be if he had him kick 4 first half.
Oh, big fly from behind. Giving away a free kick there, Guelphy.
Just have a look on the Triple M Footy social media account, Howie, and there's a nice picture of Jay-Z Clark interviewing Dante X.
Yes.
Joe Ingles has jumped on and said, geez, you look pumped to be doing this one at Dante. Is that a little backhander for our man, Jay-Z?
It's not a little backhand. It's a genuine sledge from an NBA superstar. So Reardon puts the ball inside 50. Fly from Grundy down there. Not sure what he's doing down there. Anyway, the ball comes out through Zaharakis. What's Heath Grundy up to, boys?
It's playing forward, Howie.
Okay, thanks. Really illuminate me a great deal, Darce. As the ball goes down the wing towards Bagley and goes across the boundary. I think that's a clip from Joe Ingles.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about Jay-Z. He's a confidence player. He was right up and about. Said he nailed it and just got whacked by Joe Ingles there, little Jay-Z.
Duke, you just got to get to the contest, mate, and history will show that's what I did. Hey, that last shot on goal from Lance Franklin was not out on the full. It was an absolute point, and Steve Hocking, who was sitting in front of me, knows it.
Oh. Okay, Jay-Z just punching one right back over the net there for Bob Jane's teammates to the wing, out the back. Papley picked it up, hands it off to Kennedy. He's got some space. He's got Bud. It's a big one-on-one. Hurley, Franklin, the champ, Franklin, Hurley. Hurley fell over, threw it out, I reckon, to Goddard. Goddard has been really good. The Bomber fans enjoy it. A win to Michael Hurley, and a short one to Zaharakis.
He's had a good night, Michael Hurley, Brownie.
Certainly has. That was as good as it gets down back here. One-on-one with the best player in the league when he's got space in Lance Franklin, and it was a high ball. There was a lot of time for Franklin to move, and Hurley did everything possible. It's as good as it gets down back.
Just really sharp and light on his feet tonight, Michael Hurley. Goddard, nearly kicks it straight to the umpire with a mung. He took the umpire's head off, but lucks of fortunes, it goes to Carl Hooker. Then the Guelph's got it, centre wing. Essendon 57, Sydney 47 to Bagley, who's been lively tonight too, Mark Bagley.
And Mark Bagley, that's mark number 3, and he's kicked a major.
Okay, down the line to Heppel. Spilled a mark that he got 2 hands to, and Newman picks it up now to Heaney.
That kick was smothered by Guelphy, but it landed in the lap of Georgie Hewitt. Here comes Hayward through the middle of the ground. Tommy McCartan, and the kick to Grundy was perfect. So Johnny Longmire has sent Heath Grundy back into the forward line. Don't see him there too often Nath Brown and Juddy.
You know what was good about his lead? He had Brendan Goddard going backwards towards goal, and then as a good forward would, changed direction, came back up with the foot. He just made the kick so much easier to get to him.
Big Reg Grundy, this is his 253rd AFL game. Just the 23 goals in that time. Unfamiliar territory directly in front. He went off and looked sore, Grundy, and he kicked it like a Coleman medal winning forward. Nailed it. So there's a win for the Swans. They kick a couple in a row, an unlikely one through Heath Grundy. And we're back to just a 4-point Essendon lead. 57 plays 53. Triple M Simply Energy scoreboard.
Last goal he kicked, Grundy, was round 4, 2014. Now, we saw him in the rooms with an injury concern. Is that why he's forward, Juddy, or is it a coaching masterstroke?
No, I dare say it is. We're not sure exactly what the injury is, but the fact that he was able to stay down in the rooms for an extended period of time suggests that it was reasonably debilitating, and to see him up in full forward is funny. Sometimes injury forces a coaching move which can end up being a masterstroke, and we've seen Buddy Franklin struggle to get his hands on the ball. Maybe this is the answer for Sydney.
Stewie Dew in the 2008 grand final, Juddy.
That's right.
Perfect example of that. Free kick in the middle of the ground, going to Dyson Heppel, get into Maccas for the mini Sharon footy, just $5.95 Lenny purchase. It's a little beauty. Now the Bombers running hard through the middle of the ground. Short ball, really good hit. Brown, who's playing quite a game, marks on a powerful lead. Go back and have a shot from 45 directly in front.
Every time you get the handball to a runner who's running flat out towards goal, it always spells danger for the defenders because you don't know when to go. The forward's got the luxury of holding, and at the last minute just presenting up with that ball carried just from the pace.
Mitch Brown kicked one after the siren at half-time from way out. This time he's hooked it just slightly. It's a touch narrow. He's disappointed with that. Essendon lead by 5 points, 58 to 53, 6.5 on the clock on the Triple M Simply Energy scoreboard. Simply Energy powering up the AFL.
Short kick in finds Newman for Sydney. Ride. Mark taken out there by Hewitt. Hands it off to Fox. Slips it over to Cunningham. So the Swans will transition this one pretty well. Nice fly, Papley. Gathered it at ground level. Got it forward only as far as Sard. McGrath down there. It's a clever player. Here come the Bombers, and they are quick. This is where they're dangerous. We thought their speed would be a factor. Lightning ball movement. Ends up with Stringer. Got it from Orazio. Scintillating stuff, Essendon. Jake Stringer loves it. He kicks his first. And they hit back the Bombers. 9-10-64. 8-5-53 at Sydney on the Triple M Simply Energy scoreboard.
Well, if you're a Swans fan, that's the type of play you would have been nervous that Essendon were going to deliver tonight. They gathered that ball in the half back line and just threw a chain of handballs. Orazio, Fantasia, McKenna involved, and then the ball finished up in Jake Stringer's hand, who's been pretty quiet tonight, but I actually haven't minded the way he's played. He's done the simple things well, hasn't had his hands on the ball a lot, but in that case finished off from 55 metres out. And when you are having a quiet game, to make those moments count, that's what's important.
Triple M Cbus Super special comments. That was Juddy. Cbus Super with assurances to protect building and construction workers. It was a good celebration too. As soon as it was off his boot, Jake was in the air with a fist and running to celebrate. Kennedy's got a couple of problems, works his way through it. Now Parrish, important ball in the middle of Etihad Stadium. Gives it to BJ Goddard, to Sard, the speedster. Heaney tracks him. Langford, high ball, hooks it round the corner inside 50. And the Swans through a couple of defenders. One of them was Rampy, sees it across the line. Now there's a bit of push and shove. Two-man, what do you got?
Yeah, Brendan Goddard. He's had 18 touches, but he's going at 100% efficiency.
Right. Pretty efficient.
Very efficient. He's having a good year at averaging 24 touches this season.
Thank you, Two-man. With your Triple M Bosch Tools stats, inside forward 50, Orazio wrapped up. It's going to be another opportunity with the ball up.
Anyone ever been reported before a game started?
Come back to you shortly, Brownie. I can tell you, Daniel Talia, though, with the other stat you're after, intercept marks, he took 10 in a game. I don't know whether it's a record, though, but come back to you.
Sent forward by Zach Jones.
When Chu says I'll come back to you, that's just a false statement.
It's against stuff.
Yeah.
I would say what it really means.
Yeah.
But,
It means I've got no idea on hand at my fingertips. But no, Champion Data are looking up that stat for me. Actually, most
Sure.
intercept marks in the game.
Sure
Does.
like the way you're rolling tonight, Chu.
Thank you.
Punchy.
Got a real bit of swagger about him, Howie.
Well, he brought in that book last week about how to get
Networking
sales.
with sponsors. Was that part of this new sales strategy, Two-Man, before the game?
Chapter 3.
Tim and Woody bends it round the corner. Tip, tip, tip. That's a ripper from Anthony McDonald. Tip and Woody on the angle round the body. And the Bombers open up to 17, which I reckon is their game high on the Triple M Simply Energy scoreboard.
Too quick, too polished in the end there by Tip and Woody. Essendon's leg speed's just starting to come to the fore now. Sydney look like they're starting to tie a little bit. We suspect Grundy's being played up forward because he's carrying an injury. And Essendon look like they've got all the runs so far, Brownie.
Their pace is really starting to worry Sydney, particularly on the outside and from half back. The last 3 goals before that one have come from run and carry from half back, and they just need to hold on at the moment, the Swans, or they're going to find themselves well behind at 3/4 time.
Triple M Seabus Super Special comments. All Australians, Nath Brown, Chris Judd, all over it tonight, as always, on a Friday night. Next goal, massive here. The Swans get it to the forward 50. Beautiful fist away, though, by McGrath. Dev Smith involved, gets it back to McGrath. Always seems to have time and space, except on that occasion, where he got wrapped up by Cunningham, holding the footy. Good tackle. Cunningham, long, high ball, Franklin direction, second attempt. Couldn't quite drag it in. And out of bounds, Bomber fans. They're up and about. They're sensing their sides on top at the moment. They lead it by 17 points, 4 minutes 23 seconds remaining until 3/4 time.
You've got to look at the way Franklin's moving. He's just doing a pretty good job to be out there. You can see he's in pain every time he goes near the footy.
Ball tossed back into play. He's had a tough night so far, Buddy Franklin. Head on frontal contact going the way of Ollie Florence.
What's Josh Kennedy had this quarter, Jimmy?
Yeah, Josh Kennedy for Bosch Tools. Juddy, 8 touches.
Florent inside 50 ball. Nowhere near Franklin. Bombers got the answers.
That doesn't support the point I was going to make, too. So I'll just let that,
And I was
that
going
one
to
go.
ask what was it.
Live latitude.
Yeah, live ladder. Bombers, their season's still alive at the moment. They're outside of the 8 purely on percentage. So they're on 40 points because they're in front, but level with Melbourne, Hawthorn and the Cats.
And the Swans, what's this do to them?
Oh, Sydney, they're currently 5th. They could drop outside of the 8 potentially if they were to lose tonight.
They're currently trailed by 17 points, Two-Man. 3.5 minutes or thereabouts until 3/4 time. Johnny, that one with a little nervous moment. Swans have turned it over. Buddy picks it up inside 50. Ronk slams it on the left boot. Oh, he's a little champ, this bloke. That is a ripping goal from nowhere. Just what the Swans needed. Ronk kicks his first of the night. And it's back to 11 points. 70 plays 59. Bombers with the lead. Triple M Simply Energy scoreboard.
Wouldn't mind seeing a score review from that, Brownie. You know, that's a passion of mine. Razor-like vision. I eat a lot of carrots, and I think that's been a big part of my ability to nail this one. So I'd like them to take a look at that one, Duke. A couple of team rules if you're Essendon. Give the ball to Sard if he's running past. We've established that one. If you're Connor McKenna, maybe don't wheel onto your left and try and jag the ball 50 metres out from your goal into the middle of the ground, because that's what caused that goal to Sydney there. The young Irishman just needed to play the percentages, and geez, they may have got that one right, the AFL.
Only by 1.5 metres, Judge. As Newman punches the ball out of the centre towards Franklin. Shoves Hurley legally. Buddy Franklin from 45, low and home. Here come the Swans. He's pumped to the big bud. Hurley wants the free kick. The umpire says no, Michael. And now Sydney, they kick 2 in a row in a game that has a lot of little runs in it. Essendon lead it now only by 5 points. 3:17 to go before 3/4 time. We'll have a look on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. Chemist Warehouse, a real house of fragrance, but Michael Hurley thinks he got a push.
He can't believe it, Michael Hurley. Centre clearances this quarter. This is where Sydney got back in this game. 7-1 so far, as the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay screen just about to come up. We watch it now. Franklin puts his arms around Hurley, pushes him. Could have judged himself a little bit unlucky, Michael Hurley, but the umpire said play on.
Jay-Z, what can you tell us?
Devon Smith has just sledged the umpires from down here, said that's 2 you've cost us.
Yes, it's been a pretty vocal Bombers crowd down there. Georgie Hewitt at half-back, Nick Smith. And remarkably, it is just a 5-point lead to Essendon. 3 minutes remaining. Chemist Warehouse replay. Juddy, what did you reckon?
I didn't think Hurley had too much to complain about there. wouldn't have been surprised if the umpires paid it a free kick, but I think they're playing too many Tiggy-Touchwood ones these days, so I was happy to see it let go.
It was 50-50, wasn't it?
Yep, didn't mind that at all. Boundary throw in right in front of Jay-Z, the Triple M commentary box here. Zach Merritt round the body. McDonald, Tipman Woody, well done. Took it on his chest in front of a very good defender, Nick Smith. Just wants to chip this one into the space.
Oh.
That was super classy. He had a millimetre to work with, just got it over Joe Kennedy's head. It's like a little wedge, a bit like my little wedge that I play, Brownie, when required. Orazio, he accepted it nicely.
Had to go in between 5 Sydney players there. It was the perfect one. He's been quiet so far, Orazio Fantage. Had Nick Smith all night so far. Nick Smith, an all-Australian defender, very rarely gets beaten.
5 goals, Orazio, last week. It's a big moment here. 2:19 on the clock until three-quarter time. Normally a good set shot for goal. Oh, that was perfect. It was right through the middle. Orazio gets the quick reply. 76 plays 65. And the lead is 11 points for the Bombers on the Triple M Simply Energy scoreboard.
It's as uncomplicated run up and kick a goal as you'll see in the AFL at the moment. He's a beautiful kick of the footy.
Triple M Seabus Super special comments. Seabus Super with insurances to protect building and construction workers. Chewy, what do you got?
Yeah, Essendon have cut back the uncontested marks this quarter. Sydney in that second term racked up 31. They've only taken 14 in this term.
Chewy doing a great job, as is Jay-Z, Bob Jane T-Mart's tyre and wheel specialist, doing a very nice job down there. So Essendon 76, Sydney 65. And this time the Bombers halt the little run of 2 goals from the Swans. They're going to punch it inside 50 again, though, Sydney. But Kyle Hooker, he of the man bun, just tracks across and takes a nice mark. He's going to go all the way back to fullback.
There is Goddard. His numbers, two-man.
Brendan Goddard, 18 touches, 100% efficiency.
Saad takes a bounce. Ronk gives chase. It's a good little race. And Saad, that is a high-quality kick, Juddy, at full speed.
Just not many players have that sort of leg speed. In fact, I'd go so far to say neither player in the AFL does.
They've transitioned this nicely through Devon Smith's hands, looking for Stringer. Couldn't quite gather it. You reckon he's the quickest in the game, Juddy?
I reckon he is. Brownie, what do
Yeah,
you reckon?
very, very quick. I got one of those great stats that we've come up with over the last couple of Friday nights, so it needs about 20 seconds to explain it.
You're not going with that OF stat that Channel 7 just put up on the screen, eh? Because that
No, Judge.
that hurts our entire brand.
The fact that you say you need 20 seconds to explain it concerns me. Parker hacks it out of the pack towards McKenna. So after the next goal, Brownie, or
good stoppage.
all right, I don't like doing it in play. That's got danger written all over it. McKenna inside 50. And here comes Fantasia, hooking round the corner. Bombers fans were up for a moment. Snuck through from behind. He's one of those players, though, that can do a lot of damage in a short period of time. Essendon 77, Sydney 65, a minute on the clock.
It hit the inside of the post there, that snap by Orazio Fantasia. Almost impossible to get that through the goals there with the angle he was on.
Lloyd to himself from full-back. Right on a minute remaining until three-quarter time. Harry Cunningham picks it up just on defensive 50. Hayward gone. And Darcy Parish has dumped Hayward. And he looks sore. Gets up okay, which is a good sign. That's the one they get a little nervous about. Umpires, players, the AFL. Good to see that he's up and okay. Will Hayward can have a ball up in the meantime. Chemist Warehouse replay. What do you think of the tackle, Juddy?
Yeah, his head certainly crunched into the ground, but I don't think you would have paid that a free kick against Darcy Parish.
Bombers pushing for one last goal. They lead it by 12 points, 30 seconds on the clock. They're just inside 50. Oh, stole really nicely by the Swans as they push it up towards McCartan. That was Florent that did the work, but Hurley, who's had a great game so far, to Goddard. And now back into the middle of the ground.
13 seconds remaining. Important seconds they are, because the Bombers are in attack. Tick down to 7 seconds. Dyson Heppel takes his time. Now he pops it down there. Cunningham got back in the right spot. Siren might sound as Zaharakis had a flying shot at goal. And another exciting quarter. The Bombers have extended their lead at three-quarter time to 12 points. 11-11-77. Sydney at 10-5. 65. Brownie, Juddy, Two-Man, Howie and Jay-Z here on a Friday night Triple M footy. Thanks to McDonald's, it is the Bombers by 12 points.